Hi, I'm Mika Truman, and welcome to my YouTube channel, as well as Frankincense School of Mystical Arts, and that is fsma.life. As we continue with our series of our 2020 predictions, and remember, this is now moving forward, but they're mostly for the year 2020 and even beyond. Some of the biggest things that I was getting, which I do think that I forgot to mention, is that unfortunately I see some earthquakes into next year. So be mindful of those and listen and trust your intuition is always the best key when it comes to those types of things. But this is more just kind of just giving you a little bit of a heads up on what you can possibly expect. So be mindful of that and listen to your intuition, your higher self, spirit. It's just really important at this time. So it's really interesting because I do get one of the biggest things that is going to come up for this next year, which all kind of really ties everything together, is more of our diets, our eating habits, our eating patterns. But next year is going to be so significant for this huge spiritual awakening. And as we go through that, sometimes you can be affected in so many ways. And sometimes it can affect your possibly, maybe even sensitivities to allergies and food and all kinds of stuff may come up. But I do really get a lot more focus on our diets, our eating patterns, our eating habits, foods that we have normally eaten. Sometimes we just feel like it's not really necessarily a good fit anymore. And you will possibly even look at maybe they're not a good fit anymore, and maybe that they don't really work too well for our bodies. And I do get even different trends, eating patterns, habits, diets. But I do get the biggest thing is that you're going to see, of course, different groups, organizations that will be pushing their way of eating versus another way of eating, and even diets, whether that be vegan, gluten-free, vegetarian, but you're going to see all of these different trends and hearing this is better than that and this is healthier. Come try this, come try that. It's like, oh my goodness. And also exercise. I really do get that this is going to be a year where people are going to really strongly look at even exercising, but be first really mindful of different eating habits and sensitivities to food. I really get that is going to come in really, really strong. And many of you may be feeling that even now. And some of this I strongly do get is connected to this whole spiritual awakening period and time that we're going through. It's really very interesting because I do see a split in the roads and a split in the pathways. And I do get, as you are going through this, starting now into next year, you're going to see either it's going to be one of two things. You're either going to feel a lot of anger, anxiety, fear, or you're going to shift and you're going to evolve and you're going to see life from a different mindset, a different point of view. And I really do strongly see where most of you are seriously going to look at life in a higher awakening level degree, and you're going to choose not to get emotional. Some will choose to get and fall into this high emotion, this high anger, intensity, even possibly road rage, because I do see that becoming more of a way, and that coming up more and more, yelling, screaming, all kinds of crazy stuff on the roads. But then you have over here on the side where you have this higher evolved spiritual group, which they're starting to develop a higher degree of patience and love and understanding. And when someone gets upset, I see them assisting and helping and really trying to show a different way to live and a different way of evolving and handling situations. Because 2020, I strongly get, is so full of high energy, and it's going to affect everybody on a different way, in a different way, different level, different degree, and you will either choose to go through high emotions, possibly anxiety, fear, sleepless nights, or you're going to actually shift and evolve and just choose, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to live my life like that. It's just so not worth it. I'm going to choose to be still, be in the moment, be loving, and be helpful, and basically let people be how they want to be, because you can only just be an example. That's it. You can try to share your point of view and you will, but they'll either listen or they won't. And that's okay. Either way is okay, because that's where they're at for the moment. And I see many shifting over and really being in their higher self. So that is going to be big. It's totally huge, but it's really interesting because it really looks like that it goes hand in hand with our diet, our way of being, our way of living, listening to our own intuition, and changing the way that we see life and the way that we are around others. And many of us will experience kind of shifting, letting go of old friends. You may see that you have a lot of really great new friends on their way. And sometimes it'll be kind of really interesting because you'll sit back and think, oh my goodness, ending of relationships. That could be marriage, relationships, as in work, as in our friends who've been friends forever. We may just choose other paths, and that's okay too. I do get that there's also going to be a real different positive shift within the real estate and the real estate market. And it's really interesting when I took a look at this, it was really where even we're shifting over to where we're building more higher efficient homes. But I do get also the technology is going to go through the roof, and we're going to include them into the building of the homes. And remember, this is the start of. And I get eventually, as time and the years go by, this is the beginning of even creating our homes with less outlets, electrical outlets. And I do get that it's going to be through higher technology, that it's going to be where the electricity is either ran through by the streets, through the home, but I really see less outlets. So that's going to be really super interesting, but I do get more of that is going to come up as well. So it's more of where we're really rolling it over to the higher efficient, higher electronics. You're going to see where electronics and the new age in the way that electronics have been created and what we have had available to us is going to be so different than what we have seen in the past. We are entering a time of high electronics that we've only even imagined, that we've only dreamed of. The technology, our computers, our phones, even down to TVs, video games look like you're going to look back and feel and think, this is what my kids played when they first came out. That's what you're going to look back in 10 years, in 5 years, and say, oh my gosh, that is so old school. I cannot believe that we played those games. So just watch. Major electronic shift, a major new beginning of a new electronic era. And I love it because it's going to affect everything. It's going to affect the way we function our homes, the way that we plug in, because we're not even going to plug stuff in. They're just going to charge. And it feels like it's just going to go and be in the walls or be in the roof, or I'm not even quite sure. It could even be out by the street and it will charge things up. It's very odd what Spirit is showing. Just know that the way that it has been done right now is just totally going to be so different than what you even could imagine, but far better, because it's going to be so efficient, and it's going to be where your homes are pretty much going to run themselves, and they're already on their way. But far more than what you even could imagine is what you very well may see, and starting in the year 2020. So it is a very exciting time, and it's one of new shifts. And I really do get that it's going to be a phenomenal time to be alive, not only spiritually, but even the way that we live our lives and the way we treat others. And we're going to actually start living a real higher way of being, where we're treating each other with kindness and love and respect. And you're going to see that everything on the planet is going to fall right into place. It is really interesting because I do see the two roads and the splitting off. And some will continue to be and live their life the way that they have been living them. And others will choose a real higher path where they're loving, they're kind, they're giving, and they will attract that type of people and that way of being into their own life. So it'll be one of those things where you've heard like attracts like, and you will see it actually come into your existence. So I do get this is the beginning of a really great, marvelous time, even as far as just our diets, our homes, the way our relationships are, the way our families are. And yes, there probably will be some family members that won't energetically fit anymore, and that's okay too. But I do get that this is the new beginning of a great, amazing time. I do get also where you are going to start to see even different technology, as in far as movies, the way that movies have been made, the way that we've watched TV, the normal basic channels. It's not even going to be like that anymore. We are totally shifting the way that we have entertained ourselves with TV, YouTube videos, Netflix. All of that is going to start becoming clear on which ones are going to stick and which ones are not. And it's going to be more economic, but you are going to be amazed when we want the new news and the more updated news and possibly the truthful news. You will find that you go to different sources than what you have done in the past. And this has already began, but it's going to be different because television as you know it is going to change greater than you ever could imagine. It's all going to link up together, but it's not going to be the same as it was even a year ago. So keep your eye on that. That'll be really fun and totally enlightening, and you're going to love it so much more because it really is going to give you so many more options. And the technology is going to be phenomenal as far as the 3D and greater than what you could imagine. You're going to feel like you're totally in it. So keep an eye on that. And so that is now moving forward. So keep your eye on different communication talks, even news. You're going to see it all start to become part of your world. So it's an exciting time to be alive. Until next time, jump over to fsma.life. There's so much more predictions, 2020 predictions, part 1, part 2, and more to come. Lots of free stuff, lots of video courses on how to be psychic, how to be intuitive. Go check them out. And there's something for everyone. So much more to come. And until next time, don't forget to like and don't forget to subscribe. And we will chat very soon.